Hey guys, my name is Dana. My story might sound weird to a lot of you, and it is, but it still happened to me and my parents. My dad is a little bit older than my mom, and he's now in his 40s. His name is Fred, and he's one of the most exciting people I have ever known. He is an 80s kid, as he likes to say, and as a kid, he just fell in love with sci-fi. I guess that was the best time for it. It all started when he watched his first Star Wars film at the age of 5. And after that, his love only grew stronger. Terminator, Blade Runner, Alien, The Empire Strikes Back, the second Terminator, Tron, Return of the Jedi, and of course, E.T. He found an old radio receiver in his garage and spent half of his free time trying to catch, alien signals. He had a friend named Mike who was also really into sci-fi, and they spent most of their time together. For my dad, it was not just a game, like it happens to be with most kids. He actually believed. And one night, this all just got crazy. My dad was 13 at that time, so I guess it was something around 1989. He was upstairs in his room playing with the radio waves and not coming across anything extraterrestrial as usual. Then suddenly his window lights up as if it's already mid-morning, and my dad sees a massive stream of light coming from somewhere above. Totally overwhelmed, he runs down the stairs and out of the house, leaps down the porch to the front yard, and sees a huge flying saucer right above their house. And a huge searchlight right on the saucer is shining right at him. He's staring at the spaceship in awe, totally shocked. But probably not as shocked as most people would be because, he always knew they were out there. In about 30 seconds, the saucer just disappeared and never came back. I guess they got all the data they needed. So the next day, when my dad told all of this to Mike, his buddy, Mike just laughed at him and said he was making it all up. That's when their friendship ended. And throughout his life, Dad continued to tell the story to the people he thought were close enough to him to hear it, like really good friends or girlfriends he had. But every time, the reaction was like, okay. All of them thought he was crazy. The first person to believe this incredible story was my mom. I guess that's what you call true love. They actually got married several months after they met. It's been years, and I don't know a more loving couple. Then, the second person to believe the saucer story was born, which was me. My dad hasn't changed much since then. He has a job and stuff, but he's still the same 80s kid, obsessed with sci-fi. Over the years, my mom has even become pretty passionate too. It's hard not to. You should see how convincing my dad can be. And of course, as a child, I loved this. I still do. It's way more fun to have parents like mine than those they call normal, meaning like skeptical or boring. So I love when we sit down to watch Star Wars, the original trilogy, of course, even though I've seen it so many times. And I love our camping trips, which of course are always connected to UFO hunting. There's a whole online community of UFO hunters, and my dad is an active member. So when there's information that on a certain night a UFO might appear in a certain place, and the place is not too far away from our town, you can be sure we'll be there with a tent. Of course, after years of not catching sight of any UFOs, those trips evolved into simple family camping trips, and they have always been a lot of fun. So this happened during one of our regular trips. We were alone in the woods with marshmallows and stuff, looking at the sky. Not even for UFOs, but because it was just so beautiful. Then at one point, a mist fell on the forest, so we couldn't see the sky very well anymore, and it actually became so thick that we could barely see each other. The fog sort of ended our sky gazing, and we were ready to get in the tent and get some sleep, when suddenly, a massive stream of light fell on the forest and started moving our way. We could not see where it was coming from, but my dad just went crazy. He screamed that it was exactly what he had seen that night in his parents' front yard. He immediately grabbed his film camera. He always said a digital one wouldn't capture a real UFO, and started taking pictures. But it was all in vain since the mist was so thick. But you should have seen his face in that moment. After all these years of doubt and disbelief, he turned out to be right. In a couple of minutes, the UFO disappeared. We didn't even sleep that night because we were all way too excited. We didn't see the thing, but what else could it have been? There has not been a single week since then that my dad hasn't brought up this story, and every time he looks so genuinely happy. So several months afterward, I was watching stuff on YouTube, and I came across this video of an experiment. A bunch of guys had taken a drone, put a huge searchlight and a camera on it, and made a circle above the forest just for fun. I mean, the video did look pretty amazing, but when I took a closer look, I got really upset. Same landscape, heavy mist, the same date in the corner of the video. The drone was what we saw in the sky that night. Unfortunately, it all started to make sense. Did I tell my parents, you might be wondering? Of course not. That certainly wouldn't have made them happier. But that doesn't mean aliens don't exist. I mean, I still believe my dad's story, even though we really can't know for sure. As they say, the truth is out there.